Our pleasure to welcome a couple of familiar faces back to the Wise Guys, both longtime starters at BYU, one at linebacker, one at center.
Good to see you.
Our pleasure to welcome Isaiah Kaufusi and Connor Pay back to the show. And we'll let them get their headsets on, pull their mics in, and we love having these guys here. These are two beloved BYU football players, and I think one description, and we're not just sucking up, right? One description that we would often get in relation to you two is you gave everything you had in every game and didn't leave anything out there, and that's part of your makeup, and so we applaud
Thank
that.
you.
And we're great to have you back. How are you guys?
Good. It's good to be back.
Yeah, really good. Thanks for having us on.
It's good to see you guys. We've just been breaking down the Texas Tech game, so let's jump in and get your take. What'd you think? What'd you see? Let's just start with that, Connor.
Oh, you want me to go first?
Yeah, Coach.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Now I have to.
And I know you just came from practice, but we'll respect that. But what'd you see as you saw it firsthand?
Just poor execution.
Yeah.
Really, that's all it was. And there really weren't any massive problems. There were a bunch of little ones, right, that turned into a big problem, obviously.
Right.
And
Sure.
so, I mean, it's one or two guys not getting it done on each play that makes an offense stall, right? Like, you need consistent execution across the board for multiple plays to sustain drives, and that's what we were lacking. Right, it was just a few mistakes here, a mistake on this play, a mistake on this play, and then you're just not able to get anything going. And then, because obviously that's a really good defense, and I'd say probably one of their most important traits is their consistency. They don't make very many mistakes. Right. They're going to make you earn every yard. Because I didn't feel like we were outmatched or anything like that. I don't think we were out physical, honestly. After watching it, I just felt like we made too many mistakes that were costly. Because honestly, they were averaged giving up about 75 rushing yards a game. We almost had that in the first half.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like we weren't able to run the ball. It's just now all of a sudden we're at a deficit, and you got to throw your way back into it for the rest of the game. And that's exactly what they wanted, so they could utilize their high level pass rush. And unfortunately, we made too many mistakes and put ourselves in that position.
Turnovers, we talked about, Isaiah, that just can kill a team, right? Yep. And because it gives them, in this instance, 3 extra possessions. It's a momentum killer. It gives them short fields. How big is that? I mean, can we overstate it?
No, honestly, that was kind of my biggest, thing about the game was we turned the ball over too many times. Historically, our defense has been great, I think, at causing turnovers. And we had a couple. I think Glasgow had one where he almost had that.
Came out.
It kind of came out, but it was in there. In those big games, possessions are everything. And when you can take a possession, it's the difference. And so when you give away 3, it's hard to claw your way back.
Defensively, forced 5 field goals, and a lot of those fumbles were covered inside the 20. I thought the defense was fantastic. The linebackers had a bye week to kind of get some health back, and Glasgow and Kelly and Acera were all in. They looked as healthy as we've seen them in a long time.
Yeah, they looked good. And, in those games, it's just hard when the defense is constantly on the field and you're backed up and you're in a bad position. And so it really is a 3-phase game. You've got to play really well on special teams. You got to play really well on defense and on offense. And so, just the mistakes in special teams and then the short fields, for the Texas Tech offense is just hard.
Yeah, Connor, I was glad to hear you say we were talking about this, and everybody just assumes when you can't run the ball or you struggle, and we didn't really try that much in the second half, but or you don't stop a team, that somehow you got manhandled at the line of scrimmage. I got to watch the film last night, and I as I watched both sides, I'm like, no, this wasn't Iowa State 2 years ago, or
West Virginia,
West Virginia 3 years ago, or I'll take you all the way back. We played Ohio State one year when they were in the top 5, and I remember saying, I think if they lined up and they told us put all 11 guys in the A gap because they're going to run the A gap, they still would have gotten 9 yards. We wanted the game to end because I was like, they should do running clock in the second half. We cannot stop these guys. It wasn't like that, was it?
No, not at all. Not at all. And that's, I mean, when you play a high-level defense that is extremely consistent, they'll capitalize on every one of your mistakes. And that's what happened. All right, a missed block here that could turn a 6 or 7 yard run into a 1 yard run. And next thing you know, it's second and long. All right, and then you're into when you're playing, behind the sticks against a defense like that, you're not going to be very successful.
Let's tackle this one for the both of you. Both of you won a lot of games, didn't lose a lot of games. And so what is it that you can learn only through a loss?
Oh, that's a good question.
You played on that 3-9 team. You answered.
4 and 9. It was 4 and 9.
And then it got better.
No, I'm just kidding.
was like,
I had a 5 and 7. I can't say anything.
Yeah, there
I
we
just
go.
had to tease you.
Shots fired. Man, I'll tell you what. I remember we went beat Portland State. We're 1-0, and I think we lost like 7 or 8 straight in that season. It was tough. But I think back to your question on what can you learn only through a loss. My mind goes to the 2020 season when we lost to Coastal Carolina.
Yeah.
That was our first loss and kind of a devastating one. The thing I think that we learned the most, though, is like you take away the positives on, hey, we are this close from being really, really great and playing a great complete game. And so for me, it's what you learn in that loss is the small things. Hey, there's 1 or 2 guys that are just like almost there. If we can tighten that up, we are a phenomenal football team that's really hard to beat. So I always kind of took the positives away.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think for me, the only really bad losing year we had was 2023. And I think about what that did for us in the offseason, like how the focus and the edge that everybody came back with come January, and the urgency and the motivation to improve. And it's like I think about how great that offseason was, and it led into an 11-2 year in 2024. It's like, how do we condense that down to like 1 week, right, where the guys need to come back with an increased urgency at practice tomorrow? Because kind of like Isaiah said, being a great team, all being great is being consistently good, right? And that's what the great teams do. And we lacked consistency last week. And so every guy needs to look in the mirror and be like, okay, why didn't I execute my job on this given play? Right? Don't turn around and point fingers and all that stuff. Like you all you do is you look in the mirror and say, what did I do that hurt the team and how can I fix it? Right? And you make a plan and you attack practice that way throughout this week, to where I expect the guys to come back and execute at a very high level in practice, to where there's very few mistakes. And it's minute details, right? Minute details. We line up wrong in this formation or something, or someone goes the wrong way on a play or something like that, like trying to eliminate those as best we can. I expect them to come back with a certain level of urgency, because there's just something about the kick in the butt you get from losing and being embarrassed, right, on the national stage, that just brings a certain kind of urgency that you can't really get anywhere else, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think one thing too to add to that is it kind of exposes the leadership. One thing that I love about the loss is how are the leaders going to respond, because they're the ones that are going to drive and right the ship with the rest of the team. And
right.
So when Connor says we'll see come tomorrow what's going to happen, I think we'll know how the leadership has responded to that loss.
The college football playoff poll will come out tomorrow. BYU is obviously going to drop. How far do you think? Do you guys have an opinion on where you think they'll be?
Don't care.
Don't see. He has to say that. What?
No, I don't have to say that. It doesn't matter. If we win, it doesn't matter.
So just keep winning. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. If we take care of business for the next 3 weeks and get a chance to go to Arlington, it doesn't matter. None of those rankings matter at all, right? And so I think one of the things that happened last year, and maybe even a little bit this year, is you pay too much attention to the outside noise. Like, we got up to rank 6th last year.
Right.
And we're feeling ourselves a little bit. And then we go and lose to a very average Kansas team. Right. And so it's like, just block it all out. The good and the bad. It's all poisonous, you know, to your mindset as a player. Because at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. None of it. Right, is if you win, that's what matters.
But isn't that the deal? Because you grow up on the side yard, living these things. You're in the big games. You're making the big plays with your brothers and this and that. And now all this hype comes as you win, and your stadium's full, and everyone wants to do interviews with you. I mean, it's almost a combatant against human nature for young players to deal with, and nobody deals with it great. And I guess the only way to learn how to deal with it is to go through it and go, well, maybe I didn't deal with it the best.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I think last year that exposed that. You
Yeah,
know, the
no
leadership, they are, you know, in that leadership council meeting every Monday.
Yeah.
And they're saying, hey, here's how we're going to turn this thing around. Remember last year? Not again.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, and I was one of those leaders. I was a captain last year, and we failed as leaders those couple weeks, right, in Kansas and Arizona State, and thankfully we were able to.
Yeah, but you turned it around. I mean, failed
recover.
at 11-2 with the biggest bowl win in school history outside of Blaine's. But yeah, you're right. But there was, because now all of a sudden you're in it, playing for the big prize, as opposed to starting the season. It's like, we're not going to go 5-7, right?
Yeah. And
then all of a sudden you're 9-0. And like we were talking about, expectation now is going into that game this last week and going to this one this week is BYU's in the playoff chase. That's the new goal. Not, hey, let's get to 6 wins with a freshman quarterback and go to a bowl game, which might have been the fan goal back in July,
right,
when Jake left. And so, yeah, it all shifts, and then it's all on you guys to deal with it.
Yeah, no, and I think that having your goals all of a sudden change just because you're winning games, I think, is a recipe for disaster. Right, the goal is never to get to the college football playoff or get to a conference championship. The goal is to execute at the standard you're supposed to execute every day in every game. Then that stuff will come later.
Yeah,
that'll be a part of it. But if you start thinking too far down the line, that's when your kind of your ability to be detail oriented and having every little thing matter, that starts to slip. When you start thinking about, a few weeks away from a conference championship, we're so close to a playoff bid, that shouldn't be your focus. Your focus should be, how can I get better today and execute my job at the highest level possible? And then that stuff will take care of itself.
With that said, when you are in this situation, every week is the biggest game of the year, right? Which is actually a good thing, right? Because now you got to focus squarely on TCU. And I know it's like day by day, let's see what we can do today. This matchup with TCU, and we'll start with you, Isaiah. What does BYU need to do to have a win on Saturday and keep this thing rolling and get where they want to be?
Yeah, I think I always go back to the 3 phases of the game. When BYU plays and executes really well on special teams, man, we're that special teams unit. It's an underrated phase, but to me, I'm a special teams guy. I love special teams. And then on defense, I'll let Connor work on the offense, but takeaways. You got to take the ball away, which I think we saw last week against Iowa State, right? TCU, they'll turn the ball over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so we got to.
They're going to throw it 50 times, so they're going to have opportunities, right?
Yep. And so, we can get our linebackers to get their hands on the ball, whether it's interceptions or punching the ball out and recovering some fumbles. I like our chances. Bear Bachmeier has done a great job at just kind of like playing within himself. Controlling the ball, chipping away at some yardage and some getting some first downs, and so putting ourselves in a pretty good position. But to me, it starts with the defense. Can we take the ball away? Can we get Bear another chance to have a possession?
Seems like in this last game, Connor, on the defensive side, and then I want to hear what you have to say about what the offense needs to do this week against TCU, but they had their hands on a couple of balls or had the opportunity. They had a chance on the defense where the right call was made. They were in a position. They got the offense to do what they wanted them to do. They just didn't make the play. How do you change that in a week?
It's a great question. That's a great question. I think you continue to do the things that put you in that position to make that play in the first place. It's like, I know we had a couple dropped picks or something like that, but let's build on the positive. What did you do to put yourself in a position to even have the chance to get that interception, mimic it, and then you're going to go make the play? the next time. All right, let's continue, because not every ball is going to be caught, right? Like, that's just part of the deal. And so let's continually get us the most opportunities, right, to actually turn the ball over, and give the offense another chance, another possession. But I think on the flip side of that, A-Rod's number one thing going into every game, number one thing for the offense is take care of the football. All right, and for the most part this year, we've done a really good job of that. This last game, that was a pretty amazing pick by number 10.
Yeah.
I don't fault Bear for that one at all. He made a great play. And then, just the pressure where he threw a backwards pass, like there's in big games against good defenses, there's sometimes that's going to happen, right? It's how do you limit those, right? And it's you think about the backwards pass, like why don't we just protect better? Right, like that's the offensive line's fault.
That would have solved that one.
That's the offensive line's fault, right?
I think of that environment. I think of that environment in the year before Bears playing high school football, lighting everybody up because he's a foot bigger, taller, heavier than everybody else. And then he's at Texas Tech on ABC, and they're all coming at him. And in that one play where he threw the backwards pass, you could almost see him like go, you know what? That's the teenager that we haven't seen this whole season. And you learn a lot from it. And, we've seen him make mistakes earlier in the year. And then he started throwing the ball out of bounds instead of forcing it in. You just go through that process.
He strikes me as a young guy.
Every player's gone through that.
He strikes me as a young guy that doesn't make the same mistake twice.
No.
Right? He's super smart. And you just coach him up and he goes, okay, and then he just doesn't do it again. I would expect him to either get that ball out early or just eat it next time. Because he just doesn't make the same mistake twice, which is a really nice characteristic for a quarterback to have, right?
Great trait, yeah.
Former Cougars Isaiah Kaufusi and Connor Pay are on the Wise Guys with us tonight, presented by Brady Plus, Eddie, and Mountain America Credit Union. We're talking about Bear. We got 5 freshmen on campus. Bear Bachmeier, AJ DeBonsa, Jane Hedegren, Suli Davis, and Kihei Akina. Is this not a unique time for BYU? And these are the kids. These are the new kids on the block.
They're all the best in the country coming in at their sport. The best. Top golfer, best distance runner in the history of the United States.
Top basketball player.
In the world for his age. Yeah. It's just like crazy.
What a time.
What do you think of that?
It's a great time. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. We're entering a pretty cool era for BYU.
What do you think the ceiling is for Bear? We've seen him now through 9 games, and he's 8-1, and he's been playing great, and he's just getting started.
No, yeah, he's a special kid. Love watching him play. I think he's very poised, right? More so than I think any freshman that I've ever seen. To be able to come in to learn the offense as quick as he did, and then to get the trust of his teammates, his coaches. I think that just in itself, shows how impressive he is, not only on the field, but off the field. That's what people, I think, undervalue is what it takes off the field to be great on the field. And I think Bear's been raised in a great family. I played against his brother Hank when he was at Boise State. So he's got a great family, been surrounded by greatness. He knows what greatness looks like. And I think he's just special.
No, I think sky's the limit.
Yeah, Connor, you are a graduate assistant this year working with the offensive line, so you're out there all the time. How's Bear's relationship? Because that's a big deal for a quarterback to have a relationship with an offensive line. And it seems like it's something that usually takes a little time when a guy's been around. So here he is, a freshman. How is that relationship, and how does he motivate this offensive line to work even harder for him?
Have you watched him run the football?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything more endearing to an offensive lineman than knowing that, like, we're going to do our job is to do everything we can to keep you from getting hit, but knowing that you're willing to run somebody over to get in the end zone or put your body on the line the same way we put our body on the line for you is very endearing to an offensive line. And so I think Bear, just with the way he plays, earned the respect of really the entire offense very quickly. But, when you watch him being willing to run through somebody, and don't get me wrong, we don't want him doing it all the time. But, like, in those critical moments when you need a yard, you need a first down, or he runs somebody over to get in the end zone, or knowing that he's not going to go down on first contact and he's willing to put his body on the line for his teammates in situations where it's necessary, that's a very special thing for an offensive lineman to see that, and it makes you want to make sure that you keep him upright in all the other situations. Like, hey, we need him feeling great. So when we need that 1 or 2 extra yards to get in the end zone, he's feeling good enough to give us that. So
from the defensive side, how do you see Bear becoming an even bigger bear to bring down as his confidence grows?
Yeah, I mean, he as his confidence starts to skyrocket, I think you're going to see someone who's going to be unstoppable. And so when you have to play against that on defense, man, that's kind of a mind game there, where he's just pounding the rock. He's not scared. He's physical. He's hard to tackle. And so I think he'll start to get into the minds of a lot of defensive coordinators and defensive players.
He's got a lot of. We've said it. He's got a lot of Taysom Hill in him, minus the experience, and maybe and not the speed, but maybe he's got when he has a better arm. Certainly at this stage in the college game than Taysom had, but the fearlessness of once I get past that defensive line, I am the biggest guy out there. So why would I not run over them
or jump over him?
Does he? We heard a conversation. They were talking and. Somebody said, what are you up to? I heard you're 260. And he was like, hey, you got to fuel your body. And he was like acting like he was owning it. He's not. Is he 260? No.
I don't know. I don't know if he's actually 265.
Like he was like actually going along with it. I was like, come on, Bear. You're like, I think he's like 240 maybe, right? But he was owning it. The guys were going, are you really 260? And his answer was, guys, you got to fuel your body. You got to. Nothing wrong. He says it's a healthy 260.
I mean, I'm sure he's getting up there. Bear likes to eat. He likes to eat. I haven't looked at the weight charts in a while. I don't know what he's actually at.
You have to check it for me and let me know.
He's big.
You guys didn't play with a bigger quarterback, right? There wasn't a bigger body. You think back at
no
Jaron and Zach, and just go down the line. And
ironically enough, I think Keaton was probably the biggest one.
Really?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Keaton was a good 225, 230. Yeah. He's like 6'3", 6'4". Yeah. I think he's a little bigger than Jaron.
Yeah,
he played for the Cardinals.
We're happy to see Keaton on the field. That was great. Yeah.
I've never seen a bigger lower body on a quarterback than Bear.
That's true. Yeah.
He's built like a real bear.
Yeah.
Like that lower body, and he just stalks you.
What did that one coach call him? A centaur?
He's a centaur.
Yeah, a few other words are in there, too. It was quite the description. Connor Pay, Isaiah Kaufusi on the Wise Guys live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and wiseguys.com. BYU's expanding its brand just as BYU-Pathway Worldwide is expanding the educational opportunities for tens of thousands of folks. They're a sponsor of this show, and we appreciate that. Both of you played significant roles in this development and relationship of the concept of BYU-Pathway Worldwide and what it can do for young students all around the world, especially in Africa. So let's just start. We want to talk about this for a little bit, but as you see what BYU Pathway Worldwide is doing and the potential, what comes to your mind?
It's amazing. I mean, it's the gathering of Israel at the highest level. Right? It's not just a physical gathering or a spiritual gathering. It's an intellectual gathering as well. And so being able to bring high-level education to people all over the world is a special thing, because in order the unfortunate reality in the world we live in now is that in order to serve the Lord the best, you have to have the economic means in a lot of cases to be able to serve the way you want to.
Yeah.
And what Pathway is going to do is it's going to open doors for these students to have full-time employment and careers that they would have never had the opportunities to have before, and open up economic doors for them to support not only their immediate families, but their communities too. And that is life-changing and generationally changing for a community. And not even just in the church or gospel sense, but in that entire community and whatever area they're living in. And so it's a pretty amazing thing to be a part of.
Isaiah?
Isaiah, you've seen evidence of this life-changing, as he describes it, effect of Pathways. Like, do you have any specific examples that you've witnessed that are close to your heart?
Yeah, I mean, a lot. I got involved with BYU Pathway a little bit later than I think Connor and some of the others. Coach had brought me around and had seen a lot of the videos and the prayers and different things. One of the things that we're really focused on is driving employment to these students. So BYU Pathway has, somewhere around 90,000 students in their program. Mm-hmm. One of the things that they're seeing is, hey, what's next, right? And so as Connor and I have started to kind of wrap our minds around how can we help this effort. There was one gal in particular in Mexico who her husband had lost her job. She was a recent convert to the church, and Connor and I were able to find a U.S.-based company that was willing to hire her. And so she sent a message, and I'll share the video after, just basically saying, hey, my husband just lost his job. I'm just a recent convert to the church, but I am so grateful for this opportunity that I have to work because now she can support her family. And so that's just like one of the many miracles I think that we could share. But that one in particular was the first one that kind of was like, hey, this is what we're doing here is impactful and is what we're supposed to be doing.
And the concept now underway of creating employment centers in these hot spots around the world so that you can get an affordable education, you get it online, you can get it in the convenience of how your world's going, but then you can get a job.
Yep.
And those are starting to pop up, and I know you guys the whole focus now is helping people get jobs.
Yeah. No, I think there's a couple things that we're doing that we're working on. One is essentially a company that we started with Kalani and some other partners as well. Obviously, Kalani has wanted this relationship with Pathway to grow for a long time, and he's wanted to do more to help them. Obviously, he's the CEO of BYU Football, so he doesn't have time to do it on his own, right? And so he needed people to help do it, and that's kind of where Isaiah and I came in to kind of help build that. And so we have one company called Makeke Ventures that is essentially operates like a business process outsourcer, where we go to companies and we help them hire Pathway students and make it just a streamlined, easy process. And then we have a foundation called the We Are One Foundation that's going to go to these countries and build the employment centers. And so we're going to Tonga in April, and I'll let Isaiah talk more about that. He's kind of been the head man running all the Tonga stuff. But it's been really amazing. It's been really cool. So reach out to either of us if you have employment opportunities. And I saw a question come up on this screen thing.
That's our live stream here.
Yeah. That's people asking questions.
Asking if you're encouraging people who you work with to stay in their own countries. Yes, we want them to stay.
They may work for a U.S.-based company, but you want them remote so they can impact the economy and their ward or their branch down there and all of that, right?
Right, yes. I mean, if you think about third world countries and the literally trillions of dollars in charitable donations we've poured into these countries and it's done nothing, right? It's not improved. Like, it's helped certain areas or it's masked problems, right? But it hasn't been a real solution. And so we want these people to stay in their countries so we can stimulate their economies from within, right? We're not just pouring dollars in there. We want them to stay there. So that those economies, we can literally grow the GDP of a country by letting those people stay there and work there and earn money working for a US-based company. And so they can go and put those dollars into the economy in their village, area, country, wherever. So, yes, we want them to stay.
What's going on in Tonga?
Yeah, good question.
By the way, that's a dear spot for your head football coach.
No, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
For Tonga, it's been kind of a focus area. Kalani and I obviously have bonded over that specific little tiny island in the South Pacific. He was born there. My dad was born there, came when he was young. I got to go back and serve my mission in Tonga, and so I just kind of was able to learn a lot about who I was, my roots, where I came from. So one of the things that we've been wanting to do is, can we, one, help drive remote employment to Tonga? So that's kind of mission number one. The second is, well, if there's a ton of work and remote employment going, can we help build infrastructure that will allow them to work successfully? And so one of the things that our nonprofit will do is kind of surround that little geographic area with the proper infrastructure. So we want to buy and kind of renovate a small employment center.
Yeah.
So we've, in the last probably 3 months, we have gone from 0 remote employees in Tonga to 20. And then in the next week and a half, we will be hiring another 20 to Tonga. So this is kind of the start, but the idea is, can we partner with donors and with people where we can raise funds, we can build an employment center, that can house all of these remote workers. We'll provide them with the proper infrastructure, the internet, the facilities, so that they can just really succeed and start to contribute to the global economic market.
We had President Ashton on the show a month or two ago,
Yes, we did.
and a recent graduate from BYU-Pathway on the show. But for two of you football players involved in Pathway, and as we speak to Cougar fans and people around the world, or they'll listen on the podcast or whatever, what if somebody needs to finish their education or further their education, why should they do BYU-Pathway Worldwide? And I think it's probably a softball type question, but coming from you guys who went to BYU and got your educations here, and you played for a major Division I football program on scholarship and all of that stuff, and these are folks who don't have that, but they do have an avenue to greatly improve their life. What's your pitch? What's your pitch for someone listening going, should I do it? Should I not?
Oh,
Go
absolutely.
ahead.
Absolutely do it. It's funny. I feel like when you get to know BYU Pathway, you'll slowly start to become converted to the school. It's actually amazing. I've experienced this just crazy conversion with the mission of BYU Pathway, the success that it can have. And so I am just a big advocate. I would just say, if you've got an opportunity to, absolutely. There are opportunities for single mothers, for stay-at-home moms to go back to school, to get a degree, to learn how to help. You can teach English. You can learn English to teach English to the students. Like, there's just so many opportunities. So if you're looking for something that's like kind of missing, like I was, I think BYU Pathway can help fill that void that you need.
You know, both of you guys went to practice. Well, I'm trying to remember what street it is. Cougar Boulevard, I guess. As you pull in and go into the facility, you go by a sign that says "The world is our campus" every day, right? Still going by it every day. And now BYU Football, where you went every day, is involved with Pathway as partners. The world really is their campus. How satisfying is that, Connor, to be contributing and a part of this thing?
It's amazing. And I'm grateful that I get to take on a bigger role with that now that I'm not a player anymore. And, you know, I've wondered why the NFL didn't work out the way that I thought it would. And I mean, technically I'm still playing, but that door is probably closed for me at this point. And I've asked God a lot why, because that's been a goal that I've worked towards for a long time. And the more I get to work with Pathway, the more I start to realize that there's a few things that have happened. I won't go into the whole story here, but just the confirmations to me, like, hey, there are things that are bigger than football and more important things. And I mean, gratefully, Kalani asked me to come help coach too, so I still got to do both. Right, I got to play both sides, which has been super fun. But I mean, it's all a part of the church education system. You know, I'm close with Elder Rasband, who oversees you know, the board of directors for the church education system. I think I don't know how all their committees work. There's so many, but I'm pretty sure that's what he does. Anyways, I know he oversees BYU and BYU Pathway and BYU, all those things, right? And they're talked about in the same conversations, right? They're not separate. When those presidents go to meet, President Ashton is a part of those meetings, right? As a president of BYU, an arm of BYU. And it's amazing to know that, you know, that there are fellow students, right? But they're all the way on the other side of the world. Like, that's a pretty cool thing. It's a pretty cool thing. It's a special thing.
David's on the stream, says, I'm blessed to teach Pathway in Peru and how I help teach the religious classes.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
Thank you, David.
He says this term, it's Doctrine of Book of Mormon. Great kids. How awesome is that?
Isaiah, there is a power. BYU football is its own thing, and it's a big thing. One thing we've seen recently in this marriage, really, of BYU football and involvement with BYU Pathway, and we saw it with one of the opening prayers at the stadium. Well, I think, were in the locker room, and you were in the stands because it was after you were done playing. But there is this, you got to have something to help you get somewhere, like a vehicle to get down the street. BYU football is that to BYU fans everywhere, and it's almost a match made in heaven for Kalani and everyone to go, hey, you know what? let's get involved with the 20,000 kids in Nigeria and make them feel a part of BYU football, even though some of them think it's soccer.
Yeah, I know that story very well. But it's just amazing. The reason why we named our foundation the We Are One Foundation is because it truly is what it means, is that we are one, regardless of where you're at in the world. And so Kalani's vision of kind of saying, hey, we are one BYU, we are one in Christ. Let's do this thing together, and let's kind of help be a vehicle to shepherd this thing along. And it's just been amazing. I'm lucky to be a part of it. I'm sure David can attest to the many miracles and blessings that he's seen from it.
So we'll remind folks how they can get involved and get in contact with BYU-Pathway Worldwide, specifically with the We Are One Foundation. What's the best way for folks who want to donate or just get involved or just learn more about it?
Yeah, great question. Lots of different opportunities. I think the best thing is to reach out to Connor or I.
Via social media?
Via social media.
Okay.
We also do have like a donation platform that we can share where you can just donate directly on to the foundation.
And the foundation is a website. What is it?
It's actually called, we've partnered with a company called UI Charitable. Let me get the website so I don't.
Let's just get that. That way we put it on the live stream and folks have that information, and that's okay.
So Russell Smith has an interesting question. I don't know that you guys will know the answer, but let's throw it out here. It says, are there service missions available in Pathway?
Yes, there are. I recently got denied as a BYU Pathway missionary. I tried to apply.
Oh, wow.
And they said, no, we can do better than you, but thanks for all your help.
I think they probably thought you're actually
I wasn't old enough. Apparently you have to be 26. I'm 25.
Okay. He's not kicked off his parents' insurance yet.
Yeah, wow. You're getting close.
That's true. I am getting close.
So there are missions. So that then,
yes.
If somebody's interested in that just contact Pathway office.
Yeah, go to the BYU Pathway website, and there's in one of the drop downs on the side, there's an area that talks about where you can get involved, and there's links there to fill out an application to become a BYU Pathway missionary. It's actually very simple. The commitment is around 10 hours a week, right, of working with Pathway students and making sure they're on top of their classes or anything else they help with, and it's. If you guys got the chance to watch the BYU Pathway documentary after the Sunday afternoon session of conference, you kind of got to see a little bit about what some Pathway missionaries get to do. Jump on Zoom calls with people from all over the world and help them along in their progress.
How cool is it? And did you find it?
I did.
Okay,
let me just plug it real quick.
Okay.
So it is givebutter.com/We Are One Foundation.
So give butter, BUTTER.
Yep. .com/We Are One Foundation. GiveButter is a platform that makes it easy to donate.
I was going to say.
So that's why we're on.
Butter is donations.
You don't forget it.
Butter.
You don't forget it. Give butter.
Those will all be linked. We're going to have a We Are One website up pretty soon, where all this will be. And
send it to us, and we'll get it out there too.
Yeah,
we're all in on this.
Yeah,
thank you. So if you're rich, use that link.
Yeah, or if you aren't rich and you just want to help anyhow.
That was a joke. That was a joke.
But if you are blessed,
if you're loaded like Dave,
that's true.
You should give a lot.
I expect a pretty large.
You should give a lot.
That's why we got you guys on the show tonight. That's what we're doing.
It's the only reason we agreed.
So
come on.
In the football office, in the team room. And I'll try to paint the picture, then you guys explain what it's like being in there. The whole team's in there, and then up on the big video board, there's like 100 different Zooms with students in Africa. And they're looking at the football team, and the football team's looking up at these guys. And some of the football team guys have been pampered their whole lives, right? And they're pampered at BYU. Every want is facilitated there. But in that moment, it's the team and it's the students, and they're all BYU students. And there just seems to be this vibe that's, how do you describe the vibe?
I don't know if you can.
Yeah.
It's unique, very unique, because one of the cool things too is another connection is oftentimes every Wednesday during the off season, there'd be a team meeting and we'd bring in a different cohort of Pathway students from a different country, 300 or 400 of them on a Zoom call. And more often than not, we're able to have one or two players who served in those countries on their missions go up and introduce the team. And it's pretty amazing. It brings a special unity because like you said, in that moment, we're all just BYU students here together. and they love that we play football at BYU. I think most of them still think we're soccer players.
And the impact goes both ways, right? I mean,
yes.
the students are like, "Oh, I can't believe this," yet the players are also going, "Wow, this is."
No, it's amazing. Isaiah put a chart together a while ago when we were first starting the foundation that shows the correlation between BYU football and the amount of service they give correlates to the amount of wins. And there's the More to Life program that Isaiah helped start late in his career at BYU before I got there. I got to come in 2020 at the tail end of it before it was kind of taken from them, unfortunately. And you see the correlation of wins just boom, 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 every year that the More to Life program. And then the athletic department kind of took it over, and it kind of wasn't really like a football thing anymore. And then it ended up dying out, unfortunately, a couple years later, and the wins. And then now
Let's
here
get
we
this
are.
going.
We get the pathway stuff going, and all of a sudden, going back up. There's something to be said for service.
You see the comment on the stream from Jan Gardner or Connor? Can you see that one?
Read it.
Yeah.
Wow.
It says, Pathways is blessing lives. Found myself a single mom. Needed something and just always wanted to finish my degree. Love that the church is helping all around the world.
It's amazing. I just got the chills.
Yeah,
That is awesome.
That's the point. That's the whole thing right there.
All right, let's do 5 questions for Isaiah and Connor, presented by Strategy Square. Chantel runs Strategy Square. She is a Pathway graduate.
Whoa,
as well.
about that?
amazing. That's
Learn
awesome.
what she can do to help your company's social media reach grow at strategysquare.co. So
She does all of our social media, and she is a sponsor.
That's awesome.
So you're the one that makes Dave wear that weird tuxedo for all the promotional
No,
videos.
believe me, he chose to do that on his own.
Marketing 101.
Yeah, it's just like nobody understands.
People are like, I don't know what he's talking about, but I'm going to find. Why is he in a tuxedo?
My fiance
Connor,
sent me a screenshot of
I've
that
worked with
video
him for
10 minutes before I got here, and she's like, "What are you doing? Are you gonna be wearing a tux too?" And I said, "No, that's a Dave thing."
I've worked with him for over 30 years, and what I've learned is just don't even question it. Just like,
Just
he
let
does
it roll.
something like that. It's like, yeah, you know what? If
let it roll.
If the man wants to put on a tuxedo and
Something caused your wife to
let him do
stop
it.
and watch that. Go, oh, he's going to be on that show tonight.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Mission
Look
accomplished.
good, feel good, play good. That's it.
All of that stuff.
Yeah,
There we go.
Nobody knows what goes through the head.
We've asked these 2 grads to reveal their top 5 classes that best prepared them for their life that they took
We
at
gave you this.
BYU.
Dave gave you this ahead of time, right? So you're
Yes, they have time to
Yeah.
do that.
Yep.
Yeah, something like this you can't throw on. I can't ask Blaine what his top 5 classes were. I wouldn't do that to him.
No, you know the old saying, I didn't go to BYU to play school.
Yeah,
No, I
yeah.
did. I actually did.
That's how I feel. You said to
We're
ask for
talking to
5.
two
I can't
student
think of 5
athletes.
that I enjoyed.
These are 2 student athletes. I didn't say enjoy.
You know what?
Best prepared you for
I
life.
like statistics the second time better than the first time, and also Zoology 260 the second time better. So.
Yeah, I enjoyed humanities at Rick's and BYU. All right, so Isaiah, let's start with you. We're gonna let's go back and forth, one after the other.
Oh, boy.
And here's our
It's
theme.
gonna be a short segment.
Our top 5 classes that best prepared you for life at BYU.
Okay. My number 1 is going to be Stats 121.
Stats.
Huh, I just said that.
My professor, President Shane Reese.
Is that right?
Oh, did
Yo.
he teach you sports analytics in that class?
He did not, but he
It's
somehow
not a real answer.
convinced
He's
me.
sucking up.
No, I'm not. He convinced me to take
I'm just
stats.
kidding.
He's a stats guy.
I'm a stats major.
All right, Connor,
Stats
what's
101.
number 1 for you?
Number 1 for me was MCOM. David Smales, business communication.
Right.
That was
Yeah.
kind of the art of communicating in a business setting and negotiations and
Yeah, I like that
kind
one
of
too.
stuff was pretty-
That's my number 2.
That's your 2?
David's shout out to David
Yeah,
Smales.
shout out to Professor Smales, man. He's awesome.
Just an incredible teacher, storyteller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He really taught you how to tell a story.
Is it Smales?
Smales. Yep.
Wasn't Judge Smales in a I don't know what?
Yes, he was in Caddyshack.
He's in Caddyshack.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Who's your number 2?
I love that he knows that he was in Caddyshack. By the way, we do not recommend you watch that movie. It's a terrible.
That's not an
movie.
endorsement.
It was hard to pick anymore after that.
After MCOM?
Not because I don't think they were beneficial, but I kind of lumped them together.
Okay.
GEs, personal opinion, waste of time.
Oh, so they're not in the top 5.
No. But all my business school classes, they were very real. And so I felt like every one of them was ultra applicable. because I was in the entrepreneurial management program, and most of our professors were adjunct, which was pretty amazing.
They're out working in the industry, and they're coming in and giving you
they're
the
coming
knowledge.
in, and it's like, hey, we're going to teach you how to validate a product when you start a business, and they literally come in and say, here's what we're doing at our company right now.
Oh wow!
And it's very real. And some of those classes are literally like, go start a business, create a company, and your grade's based on if you can make any money.
Wow!
Right? And it's like you have to do something real. And so I thought those were extremely beneficial. So really, almost every class I took in the entrepreneurship program was pretty.
So you
pretty
just
amazing.
You just thrown all those classes into your top
So you're
5.
saying that's 2, 3, 4, and 5?
Yeah, the entrepreneurial management
kind of
program.
it's kind of an easy
You
way out.
also told me that your Book of Mormon class you loved.
Yes, I did. I was taught by Brad Wilcox.
Yeah.
That was pretty amazing.
I'm putting that on the list.
The religion classes were very good too. Mark Ogletree, I took Living Prophets from him.
That's our stake president.
Yeah, that's our stake
He
president.
just lives
Yeah.
up the street.
I never
he's
had him.
awesome.
I
Awesome.
wish I would have.
Was his son older than you, or were you
Yeah, he's
teammates
older.
with him at all?
Older.
Older.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was.
I was getting recruited.
When he was playing.
Brandon
playing.
was.
He was a
beast.
downhill
Oh, yeah.
nasty linebacker.
Yeah.
Not big, but he would just go hit people.
I really don't have a religion class that I didn't like.
Yeah.
I mean, one that was very hard but very worth it was Foundations of the Restoration with Anthony Sweat.
Ooh, man.
Very challenging class, but very good.
I think my favorite religion class was teachings of the presidents of the church.
Nice.
Because you got so many of them going through, and they're all so uniquely great in their own way. I just remember that one because you took them all, but there's some that stick out a little bit. All right, let's pick up number 3 on your top 5.
Yeah, number 3 was a course that I took that was in actually the business school. It was IS 515.
What is IS 515?
Information
Ooh,
Systems
nice. Good
515.
choice.
It was a business Excel class. That is the single class that I think has prepared me the most.
So, like, teach you how to use Excel,
How to
and
use
do
Excel,
spreadsheets and build formulas and do all that
business
stuff. Yeah.
analysis. It was phenomenal. And
I
it
had a
was,
class like that. I used it
Yeah.
every day in my
Yep.
regular job. I was just doing spreadsheets today.
You're doing that in Tonga right now.
I'm building spreadsheets.
Yeah.
Hey, looking at all the donations that are coming in, making sure that all the numbers are correct.
Yeah.
And
Okay, awesome.
Nice.
That's funny because I was actually going to say if I had to pick another one, I would have picked IS 201.
I'm putting that on the
Really?
list.
Which is, I mean, it's kind of the entry level. IS 201 is kind of the entry level that then you go and take that class afterwards. So that was just learning the basics of computer programming and how to make an Excel sheet do what you want.
Yeah.
I wish ChatGPT would have been around when I took that class, but I'm sure that'll become a very valuable class at BYU. I'm sure
A
Dean
ChatGPT
made-
class?
I'm sure an
How do you
AI
guys
How to
Chat-
make
how
it work
is
for
that
you?
AI?
How do you make it work
That's,
for you?
I mean, it's a language. There are people who will literally major in AI.
Wow.
I'm sure in the future, and I'm sure Dean Madrian's got some good stuff cooking for the business school on that front.
Jess says business management 444.
And 499H, Keith Hunt. All right.
All right,
Well,
let's finish
business
with
management,
since
444.
since
I don't know
Connor
if I
gave
took
us like
that.
7.
Yeah.
What's your last
Give us
one?
one more. What's,
man, one more.
64 credits
so
to be exact.
his favorite religion class was which one?
Teachings of the President's
Yours
Church.
was which one?
Those are hard to choose. It was either
Mine was
either,
Doctrine and Covenants, and it's a weird reason. So I grew up in upstate New York, right where all of the history of the church,
Yeah.
Harmony, Pennsylvania was in my state boundaries, and the Susquehanna River, like all of that. So it was just so fascinating to me to learn even more about where I grew up. So I loved that class.
That's what Anthony Sweats was. I mean, it's called Foundations. It was a DNC class. Is
Yeah.
really what it was.
Yeah, I love it. Love that one.
There was was it Eternal Families? What's the religion course that was about the Eternal Family?
Eternal Families.
Eternal Families.
Yeah.
That
Professor
one-
Ogletree taught that one. I loved
Ogletree.
it.
I didn't have
loved that
Ogletree.
one.
And
But I like that.
has taught up on campus, and he's a and family counseling and all that kind of stuff. He's a counselor, so does a great job.
You guys were tremendous athletes and student athletes. You know, look at the classes you rolled out. Not one of them was foods. Not one of them was gym.
There's
not
nothing
one
wrong
was
with foods or gym.
No, there isn't. Nothing wrong with
Like I
any of
said,
those.
the GEs
This is
were a
always
waste of time.
this and that. And
Hey, I took volleyball actually. The volleyball class. Bowling.
did take golf class.
Did you
I took golf.
Did you take bowling?
Of course.
You guys have to tell you the hardest
Gotta
class I
take
ever
those.
took. I was in grad school, so I was finishing up my master's, and I had to have just a filler class. And I was looking down, I'm like, swimming. This would be great. That would actually fill my hours, resident hours.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
gonna take swimming class. Are you kidding me with what they made us do in that swimming class? They like kept track. They had to come count your laps.
Had to show up
every
first
week.
of all.
I got behind. I spent like 3 hours swimming one night to pass the class. It was like the hardest class I've ever had.
I got to campus, and bowling was kind of the filler class.
Oh, yeah.
And Jamal Williams, fantastic bowler.
Great bowler, yeah.
Fantastic bowler. He had been in that class for like 5 semesters straight. and then he was the aide. You know, he was the
Teacher's
TA.
aide.
And then he was like,
I could see him with all his crazy clothes bowling, you know. So there were some of those classes that, you know,
awesome.
they would tell you, hey, you've got to have a certain number of resident hours, so like take this class, bowling, swim. They didn't tell me swimming. After I got in it, people went, why would you take swimming? That's the hardest class ever.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, we appreciate what you're doing with BYU Pathway and what you are doing with BYU Athletics, both as former players and coaches, and you're connected forever, so you're always attached to. You Google Isaiah Kaufusi and all this BYU stuff comes up. That's just how it's always going to be.
That's right.
But we appreciate how you guys represent, and we fully support what BYU Pathway is doing. And so we welcome you back anytime. You got something big and you want to get the word out and want to get some support generated or whatever, just give us a buzz, and this is your place.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate
that a lot.
Yep.
You got it.
We'll get the word out.
And get the team ready for Saturday.
Yeah,
would you?
your main job this week is let's get their minds right on that offense.
Oh, don't worry. I'm going back to the building after this.
Oh, you
I
are?
stepped away for
I know,
this. I'm
sure,
going
and
back.
I appreciate it.
Thank you
I know Gavin won't get home till late tonight.
Yes.
So.
You can also catch Connor's podcast with Chase Roberts called 2 Point Conversion wherever you get your
thank you
Wise
for
Guys
that.
podcast,
Yeah.
which, by the way, is great. It's
fun.
Nice job for doing that.
Thank you. It's
got it.
been really fun to host it. And we just a couple weeks ago we had Faith Kasache on. She's the one who prayed before that Kansas State game.
It was great.
Yeah.
Even after a full podcast with me, she thinks we're soccer players. But it was phenomenal.
Does she look at you and wonder how like you were such a good soccer player?
Like you're the goalie or what?
I don't know. She just saw my head on a screen. Like maybe he gained a lot of weight since he's not playing anymore. But
What's awesome is all those folks around the world check to see how this football team's doing, because now they're connected to them.
yeah, it's amazing. They're amazing
in a great
people.
way.
Amazing people.
All right.
Thanks,
Go home
guys.
go back to work. Go home to your families. Thank you
Go
for
back
being
to
here.
work.
Yeah, that's where I'm headed. Back to the office.
Connor Pay and Isaiah Kaufusi, two of the greats here on the Wise Guys, and we thank them for being with us.